the general purpose of my speech is to persuade. My specific purpose is to persuade the audience on how organ donation can really save someone's life. In 2018, the United States had 36,527 organ transplants performed, which set a world record for the sixth year in a row. Imagine being able to wake up one morning and have the privilege of saying you added years to a person's life by doing the selfless act of donating an organ. In 2018, the United States had 36,527 organ transplants performed, which set a world record for the sixth year in a row. Organ donation gives those who are ill and suffering a second chance at life. I have witnessed the power and joy that an organ transplant brings an ill person firsthand. My mom was one of the 36,527 patients in the United States who received an organ in 2018. Her and her sister were a perfect match, so obviously my aunt didn't hesitate to help her sister. My mother was born with kidney problems and has lived with only one for the majority of her life. The 1-year anniversary of her surgery just passed in late October, and the progress my mother has made since her surgery is truly outstanding. She not only looks and feels better and has a much higher energy, but she's now glowing of how much she feels better. And the hospital after her transplant gave her a pillow shaped like a kidney. So today I'll be talking to you about the benefits and reasons about why it is so important to be a donor and help save someone's life. Most people probably think that in order to give an organ you have to be dead, but that isn't true at all. The person in need of the organ has the option of a live donor or someone who is deceased. If the patient chooses to have a live donor, then of the organ they need, there must be 2 or more of the organ, and the person obviously must be able to live without one. With a deceased donor, the patient can take almost anything it needs, but there are many precautions in doing so. The tests run on blood types and tissue types are very extensive, and this is so because the doctors need to make sure that the body of the patient is able to obtain the new organ without trying to attack it or kill it. To understand all the benefits that come from organ donations, we must understand what they are and how they work. Organ donation is the process of surgically removing an organ from an organ donor and placing it into the patient. A transplant is needed when a patient's organ is severely damaged or is failing. Organ donations have many steps that must be followed during the process in order for the transplant to be successful. The process of donating organs starts with those who are willing to give. They must undergo many different tests that include screening, blood tests, physical and psychological evaluations, and consent and final review. In order to be listed as a match, the donor's test results must match absolutely perfectly to the patient. They must match perfectly so that the body does not see the new organ as a threat or see it as something that it needs to attack and get rid of. There are also medications that the patient is put on after the transplant surgery to prevent the body from attacking the new organ. Organ donation from a deceased person have their different advantages as well. Many people who have a deceased family member who become a donor say that it has helped them with grieving their loved one. They say it helps them to know that their loved one is giving back and saving the lives of those people who are ill and suffering. Other benefits of being an organ donor after death is that it improves the sick people's quality of life. They make a difference, and a single deceased donor can save up to 8 different people. One organ donor can save up to 8 different people by donating the heart, liver, kidneys, lungs, pancreas, skin, veins, heart valves, tendons, ligaments, and finally their bones. One tissue donor can change the lives of up to 50 different people. The cornea is the most common of tissues that is transplanted. People who stand against organ donation do so because they are concerned about the risks that are possible during the process, along with other reasons. Many people are very overcome with risks that are involved in the process of organ donation. Some people who are against organ donation have a sense of distrust in hospitals and doctors and the organ allocation system. It is said that some have a belief in the black market for selling human organs in the United States. Others are concerned about the medical risks that follow the transplant surgery process, some of which are pain, infection, blood clots, bleeding, and wound complications. Other medical risks include allergic reactions and possible damage to tissues and other organs in close proximity. Organ donation is something that is very important in the medical world throughout the United States. Organ transplants are an opportunity for the living or the deceased to help those who are really ill and suffering. The patient who receives an organ transplant has a completely different quality of life after receiving the new organ and recovering from the surgery. 36,527 organ transplant surgeries were performed in 2018. 80 people across America were receiving new organs daily. In conclusion, people who chose to become donors can change and even save the lives of numerous people. Organ donors continue to save the lives of the ill and suffering each day, despite the risk and long processes involved. I will always hold on to the memories I made with my mother during the time when she was very ill and in need of a new kidney. I am still amazed, even after all this time, of how much my mother has prospered during her recovery. That experience will forever change the way I personally view the organ transplant system.